So it's July 30th, and I thought I would just kind of go through some of the highlights for this week and throw together some of the videos. What we're looking at right here is from, let's say, where the cleanup began several months ago. I think this is actually in April, little by little, getting stuff away from the building, and you've already seen what kind of what the results are now, but still we're making it better. Here are the guys that are putting in the steps that we had talked about, and how there was just too much space. Between people had to step up and over something, and that was a bit dangerous. And you can see there with how high that step is that there really was a lot of space to kind of jump up and go over. So they did the same thing in several parts of the building, and you're going to see that later. Yeah, here the guys are moving the mushrooms to the destinations where they will end up being, where they'll be put in their bases, the correct bases. And they had just been kind of sitting out front, but you know, it's kind of a production moving these things because they're just immensely they're just heavy, and luckily one of the guys had a what you call a motocarga, which is this little thing to help move these mushroom heads rather than having to carry them by hand, which is what they had done in the past. So yeah, and I think you'll see, you know, in the videos here on out that just the cleanness around the building. You know, the grass doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just clean. And also it serves as a fire line for, you know, because fires are just inevitable up there. So let's see, we're going to move to the next scene in a moment. And here is looking down, I think after they have, give me just a second. Yeah, here we have them loading the rocks into a wheelbarrow to haul them over to the other side, to put them at the beginning of the path that'll be for the Southern Trail. So let's take a look at the other side. So I'll explain this better, I think, in a video that I also did. But basically, we're just moving these white rocks to the southwest corner. And then from the southwest corner, the rocks will extend out at an angle. And if you're on a TV, you can see the beginnings of the trail. And it's going to extend out to where you'll see in another video, and then it'll go down the hill. So from basically where they are right now, for about 110 meters more, we've got this cow grass. It's about a meter, more than a meter high. But then after that, for the remainder of about 800 meters, the grass is quite low thanks to the cows and some fires that we had last year. So we've got about 120 meters to clear, and then rocks to put down, and that's not as bad as it seems. It's just tedious, as you can see here, with them, just basically throwing these as one rock at a time to make the path. And in a moment, we're going to switch over to the bathrooms. This is just kind of an odds and ends that are down on the ground floor. So this is the men's room, which is actually a pretty good amount of space. I'm not sure how it's going to come across here. And this is, it's a little bit dirty, but this is the ladies' room. What's missing is the stuff like the toilet paper holder, the mirror. All that stuff is upstairs, but I need somebody to put that in the concrete. And yeah. And this is just another one where we had garbage floating around in like 5 different parts of around the building, different parts of the land. And this is the last big, that's not too big, but big move of getting the garbage out of there. So that's done. And so from the upstairs, we'll just take a look and see how it is from upstairs. Again, I guess it's more about just getting an idea of the space. Like you said, the videos work better for you. So in the background there, you can see the power lines. I've got those in another video. But I'm pointing out there where the garbage or some of the garbage was. But again, you can just see it's becoming a cleaner space. Like I said, we're slowly getting through that rubble that's on the right side because it's still in use. The bricks are something that we're still, that's probably the only thing there that needs to be moved somewhere else, and I haven't figured out where, and it's not being used. And yeah, the power lines I'm pointing out on the back, towards the back. Right now, just as a point of reference, we're looking due north. So just getting your bearings. And we're going to walk around to the southern side where we can see the trail that I was talking about from the southern side of the building. Right now we're looking west. This is due west. And there's some cows back there that belong to, I'm always going to call her the elderly neighbor, because I think she is, nobody knows how old she is, but those are her cows. Anyway, if you look down towards the center of the screen, you can see that's where the trail would go out. That's what I'm pointing to there. And it's going to go out to, you can probably see some white that's towards the center top of the screen. That's a pile of rocks that they left there, and now I'm kind of pointing to it. And from there, the trail would go down the hill. So it's like maybe 30 meters to that patch of white rocks, and then maybe another 70 meters going down the hill. And after that, as I mentioned before, it's all, the grass is very short, so it would just be a matter of putting rocks, not as closely together as we have here, but at least as a guide, so that we know what we're going to keep, what we're going to maintain. And that would be, again, the southern trail. And it takes people out to a smaller hill that is at the southernmost point of the property, and you've got amazing views there. So people could decide just to, to get outside of the square, just to go to that part around the white rock, pile of white rocks there. It's actually a good little walk to get there, and they don't have to go any further. They actually have nice views along that from that area. I'm not going to say they're so different from the inside, but people want to get out and walk. That's one way to do it. And if they really are walkers and want to keep walking, they could. So, Southern Trail. So the gentleman who's given me who's done the rest of the cleanup or been in charge of the rest of the cleanup has given me a price of about $220 to do to clean up the trail, which is about 2.5 feet wide, and continue the trail down to, let's say that to do the completion of that 120 some odd meters that I mentioned down to the bottom of the hill. That does not include laying out the rocks, but that's I'm not going to say it's not the biggest deal, but for the $220 and what is gained by that, I'm inclined to go ahead and do it, because I realize it's a lot of work to cut it down and then to get rid of the grass. So yeah, I'll cut it there. So there was a lot of wind noise, so I'm recording over the video at this point, but we're going up to take a look at the other steps that were done on the top two terraces. And yeah, basically the same thing. You've got a ramp on one side, and you've got an additional step on the other side. So again, more comfortable, safer. But when it dries, I still got to walk across it and see how it feels. Ramp, a full step, and then another step. So this one I have my doubts about. I think they might need to make the ramp have a little bit less of an angle than it has right there. There's something that makes me uncomfortable there, but once I walk on it, I'll see how it feels. And I think in this video, I'm going to take an opportunity to just look over the railing and look down again. Yeah, so again, south side of the building. And now we're looking towards where the trail would be, the first trail. Now we're on the west side of the building. And now we're going to the north side of the building. I decided to split the electrical part into a separate video, into a separate video, because I think that one's going to be about another 10 minutes also, and just take a ride around the property. So again, you get a better idea of the space.